You are special, one of the most special people I've ever known.
A wannabe dictator that's facing 91 felony charges over 4 criminal indictments has won the Iowa caucuses, and it is the least surprising news imaginable. But I'm going to go over some of the results here, including a couple of videos and some other stuff. This is the first state, of course, in the Republican primary for president for 2024. Donald Trump has been dominating ever since polling began for the primary race, even through moments where it looked like maybe DeSantis is gaining, maybe Vivek Ramaswamy is gaining, maybe Nikki Haley now is gaining. None of them even ever came close to where Trump is. This is how the state of Iowa looks. Can you guess who the pink is? It's Donald Trump. And I'm actually going to refresh this because I feel like this is going to change. Let's see here. Still purple. So this is caucuses are weird because they're not really votes. The way a caucus works is you pledge your support to a certain candidate, and there's like an open discussion, and you have to stay there for a while. It's not just drop your ballot and leave. So in this case, Nikki Haley won Johnson County by 1 vote, apparently. Okay. But everything else is dominated by Trump, as you can see. And scrolling down here, Trump with 51% of the support, DeSantis in second place at 21.2, and Haley at 19.1, and Ramaswamy nowhere close, sitting at 7.7%. And I'll get to an announcement that Ramaswamy made, and you could probably guess what that was. But this gives a little perspective. So shared by Barbara Comstock here, who I believe is ABC News. Yes. ABC News, only 110,000 voters last night in the Iowa caucuses versus 187,000 in 2016, a 40% decrease. Snow doesn't explain all that loss of interest. MAGA takeover is not growing party. Republicans ignore general election losses of MAGA years and pretend Trump won 2020. 60% of Iowa Republican voters are election deniers. This is pretty massive. And Iowa, the caucus always takes place either, it's usually February, but the weather's always bad. So, yeah, it doesn't explain the decrease here in the support because the weather was bad yesterday, too. It is just a massive decline in, I think, the general interest in politics. And it'll be interesting, I guess, for lack of a better term here, to see how this impacts the rest of the voting states as well as how it affects the general election. Because if turnout is down overall for Republicans, that could help Joe Biden in turning out the anti-Trump vote. Because again, there is very little support for Joe Biden. His approval rating is record low right now. But there is enough, or I shouldn't say enough because we don't know, but there are a lot of people who simply want to vote against Donald Trump. And that is going to continue as long as Trump is the clear nominee. Now, I could show you, I watched these victory speeches. They were all terrible. Thankfully, they were all short. So Trump is 4 minutes. Nikki Haley, I'll show you a clip of hers, 2 minutes. Ron DeSantis was like 3 minutes. So they're all terrible. Trump's was just thanking. It was like thanking people the whole time. It's like he won an Oscar. So I'm going to show you just a bit of this because, I don't know, I thought this was kind of a weird moment.
But more important than Melania, I want to thank her incredible, beautiful mother who passed away a few days ago. And she's up there, way up there. She's looking down, and she's so proud of us. And I just want to say to Amalia, you are special, one of the most special people I've ever known. And that was a tough period of time for the family. But she's amazing. She was amazing. So I just want to thank what she's done for our family and her husband, who's home right now and very lonely. He's a lonely man, but he's going to be okay, Victor.
Okay. He's lonely. He's a lonely man. Right. I don't know. I shouldn't be laughing at someone's loneliness, I guess. It's just a weird thing to say during a speech where you won the Iowa caucus. Let me get to Nikki Haley. So Nikki Haley here, this This is a really interesting comment considering where we are left after the Iowa caucus, but check this out.
I can safely say tonight, Iowa made this Republican primary a two-person race.
Do you want to maybe clarify your comments there, as Iowa apparently made this a two-person race, according to Nikki Haley, who's in third. Okay. Now, before that, she mentions, the future states coming up, New Hampshire and South Carolina, where she's from. So I guess if you include all of the polling, but you also can't believe the polling in the media, but if you include all the lying polling in the media, then it's a two-person race between me and Trump, because those states may vote for me, though we don't know because the media lies. So all of them comment on how the media lies so much. Oh, that we can't trust the polls, can't trust the media. And then here she is relying on the polling and the media to claim that she's in second place. All right. Moving on. Here, this is also interesting.
Take a look at the gap that's developing tonight here in Iowa. These are Republican caucus goers with college degrees. Look how they are breaking. Donald Trump barely in this exit poll, leading Nikki Haley, just a 2-point gap between them. DeSantis back at 23%, Vivek Ramaswamy at 9%. Again, 35-33 Trump, college graduates. This is a little clunky, but let me get you now to the other side of this. No college degree. Again, we showed you the split. This is about a 50-50 split. Check this out. Donald Trump, 65%. 2/3 of the no college vote so far. And again, we are still getting incoming entrance poll data, so there can be some flux in these numbers. But the gap is obvious. The gap is clear. The gap is stark among voters without college degrees. Trump gobbling up 65% in our entrance poll. DeSantis, 17. We showed you Haley, 2 points behind Trump among college grads, 57 currently behind him among those without college degrees.
That gap for Nikki Haley is incredible, and I wish I had a good explanation for you. I don't. This may have to do with how Nikki Haley was communicated by other campaigns in Iowa. Maybe she was positioned as someone who's, this well-educated, from Washington politician. Meanwhile, DeSantis, Ramaswamy aren't. Like that. There's no. I mean, you could maybe say sexism, but is that strictly a college versus non-college issue? I don't think so. It's just a very bizarre comparison here. I mean, 33% to 8%, really the only one with that kind of massive swing. Like the others go down too. DeSantis down to 17 compared to 23, but it's nowhere close to where Haley's numbers are. It is really just, I have to, again, assume it has to do with how Haley was communicated or how other campaigns talked about her in Iowa. But Vivek, let's get to Vivek. So he suspended his campaign. No point showing you his speech. He's very hard to listen to. He's incredibly phony. But he has endorsed Donald Trump after Trump turned on him yesterday, because of course Trump did. And this is, I just got to show you some things around Vivek and Iowa. So first, the Elon Musk curse, as Justin writes here. Elon Musk, on the 13th of January, said, if it is accurate that Vivek did more meetings with voters than all other candidates combined, then I think he will do very well in the vote on Monday. The power of an extreme work ethic is usually underestimated. This cloud showing once again that he knows absolutely nothing about politics. Just to point out, Elon Musk is a ridiculous person, a absolute clown. And at this point, anyone who has followed him at all, especially over, it was clear before he took over Twitter, but since taking over Twitter, he has the accounts he props up, the people he's aligned himself with, the extremists he's aligned himself with on the right. It is clear that he is just a complete lunatic. Now, this is also worth pointing out. This was Vivek's. He posted this 30 minutes before the end of the caucus. There are two genders, and no, a man cannot become a woman. Iowa, I'm asking for your vote tonight. This was his last, Hail Mary attempt at gaining some support in Iowa. Just an absolute loser in every sense of the word. And if you're wondering, maybe he's going to be the VP. That's why he did all of this. Well, apparently the Trump campaign has no interest in that. So Trump aide Jason Miller told the Post that voters could probably rule out Ramaswamy as the ex-president's running mate, given that Trump unleashed his biggest attack on him the previous night. The former president accused Ramaswamy of being sly, having deceitful campaign tricks, and not being MAGA during a blistering attack Saturday on Truth Social. Pretty safe to say it won't be Vivek. And let's be clear. This is not the reason. Trump attacks all of his political opponents. That has nothing to do with anything. This has everything to do with the fact that Vivek is not white. Here is an example. Iowa voter on Ramaswamy. This is from a podcast called The Focus Group where they talk to Iowa voters. Quote, "I'm not being prejudiced, guys, but I don't like his name. I don't like where he came from. After 9/11, I still harbor a lot of hard feelings." Vivek is of Indian descent. As Will explains here, for anyone who might take this guy's complaint seriously, but let's say he's not of Indian descent. Let's say he's actually from Saudi Arabia. That shouldn't have anything to do with anything. This is an incredibly racist, bigoted thing to say. But to even if you want to, take that guy's point, Vivek is and always has been a U.S. citizen of Indian descent. Number of Indians among the 9/11 perps equals 0. Number of Indians among the victims equals 41. This is why Vivek was never a serious candidate. You can't expect a party that is 90% comprised of white voters to vote Vivek Ramaswamy for president. It's just not going to happen. Aaron Rupar here, sharing this video from Fox News. Let me just play this clip and then show you the responses.
Are you involved in a racist party?
No. We're not a racist country, Brian. We've never been a racist country. Our goal is to make sure that today is better than yesterday. Are we perfect? No. But our goal is to always make sure we try and be more perfect every day that we can. I know I faced racism when I was growing up.
What a weird turn of events there. So I wish I could find what sparked this question because it seems kind of random for Nikki Haley to be asked this on Fox News. But she starts by saying, we've never been a racist country, but then ends on how she faced racism growing up. I don't know how you can know the Civil War existed and claim that the country's never been racist. I don't know how you can know any. I mean, Nikki Haley, she was in a big scandal for discussing how the Civil War or ignoring initially the fact that the Civil War was about slavery. She didn't say that. And then she had to come out and admit that, well, yes, obviously it was about slavery. How can you be aware of that history and claim that it's never been racist? While also at the same time, having experienced racism yourself, as Mehdi Hassan pointed out here on Twitter. What about the time you said you got excluded from a kid's beauty contest for being brown? Or the time you said your dad was profiled at a market because of his turban? And Ben Dixon makes the ultimate point here. Sure hope nobody asks her why she doesn't go by her real name. Nikki Haley's of Indian descent and has done whatever she can to hide that. Unless she's asked about it, unless there's a reason for her to bring it up, then she'll discuss her experience growing up. But even then, she has to assure, as all Republicans do, they have to assure their voters that they are not racist, that we're not a racist country. You're perfectly fine. Those racist thoughts you have, no, you're a good person. Don't worry about that. I'm not going to try and educate you and make you aware of the realities of not just the history, but also what is currently going on. No, ignore all of that. And me, as a person of color, I'm giving you the pass. I'm allowing you to be racist and allowing you to think that there is no racism. That's the job of all of these Republicans. And Nikki Haley is one of the best at doing that. So I don't know where this, what am I saying? I was going to say, I don't know where this primary is going to go. I know where it's going to go. Trump's going to win in a landslide. Then we're going to get to the general, and assuming the health of both Biden and Trump are fine, that's the matchup, and we're going to see what happens at that point. But there is no race here. As long as Trump is in the race, as long as his name was on the ballot, Trump is clearly going to win the rest of the states.